on from there. I went on to the Badlands of the Dakota Territory to try the life of the cowboy. The Badlands. Have any of you been there? Have you? My dear, what did you think of it?
I loved it.
You loved it. I did too. Wonderful. It was, would you agree with me that it was beautiful without being pretty? Grimly beautiful. I used to say that it looked like Edgar Allan Poe sounds. Wonderful, wonderful grim beauty, the strange and bizarre shapes carved out of the bluffs and the canyons by the winds over thousands of years, casting those wonderful shadows at sundown. Grisly, grim, but terribly, terribly beautiful. Here, I brought with me some photographic proof of my career. Here I am, in all of my cowboy splendor, with my horse and my hat and my chaperos and my pistols and my lariat, and I don't know if you can see them from where you are seated, my spectacles. It was because of my spectacles that I was obliged to endure all of the usual nicknames with which I'm sure you are familiar. Four Eyes, Storm Windows, etc., etc. Yes, there we are. My friend here agrees entirely. Yes, although I must tell you, my friends, that my real nickname in the Dakota Territory came about in an entirely different way. One day, we were chasing some cattle. It was the springtime, we were bringing in the yearlings for branding. We had corralled them all, and they suddenly spooked. They burst loose out of the corral and went racing away. And my two men, the two men who worked for me, got on their horses to go after them, but they were going rather slowly. And I felt terrified that I saw all of my profits, you see, disappearing over the crest of the hill. So I stood up. I was on horseback myself at the time, and I stood up and I yelled to my men as loudly as I could yell, "You men! Hasten forward quickly there!" Yes, that was their reaction. One man fell entirely off his horse. He thought it was so funny. And I never lived it down. Years later, when I had become a hero in the Cuban War, the whole world called me Colonel. Or years after that, when I was president, the whole world called me Mr. President. Very respectful, you know. But I would go back and visit my friends in the Dakota Territory, and they would always say, "Well, here comes old Hasten Forward quick." I never lived it down. Never. But I learned things there. I learned things about the American character and about my own character.